So welcome everybody. Good to see you all. I'm Matt Horvat. I'm the head of school, so it says in the program that I'm supposed to go first. So here we go. So welcome, friends, parents, guardians, faculty, and most of all, the 8th grade class. This event, the 8th grade promotion, is a celebration of all of your hard work and focus these past years in middle school. This year, I know all of us were unsure if we would be here today and what this day would be like. Well, here we are, wearing masks, sitting under a giant tent with some of us in person and others of us participating virtually. None of us imagined 461 days ago, when we first learned about COVID, that we would be facing a global pandemic. Global meaning COVID-19 has touched not just everyone in this community or in this region or in this country, but just about every living person in the world. So much has happened to all of us in this time, and each human on this planet will have a story to tell about challenges they faced. Some stories will be sad and filled with loss and heartache. Others may have stories about that center on resilience, commitment, or care. These stories will make up our individual experience of having lived through this time. In the future, when people meet for coffee or are chatting at work or maybe in school, I know there will be a point in the conversation when people will share what happened to them, to their families, or to their friends during this time. No doubt that when you are 50 years old, and I'm talking to the 8th graders now, because some of us in this room are 50 years old, think 35 years from now, you will have some 14 or 15-year-old who will ask you, what was it like to grow up during this time? How did you cope? What was hard, and what did you learn? And you will have plenty of stories to tell them. We are living in a historical moment. As research has shown, we make meaning in our lives by crafting stories about our experiences. I hope stories about this time are not only about hardship and pain, but also include stories of learning, growing, and connecting. Personally, I got to spend so much more time with my family. I played a lot of cards. I ate and cooked some delicious meals, worked on puzzles with my sons, binged watched a few series, and learned so much more about my family and myself. If you think back over these last 15 months, I'm sure you can find stories like mine that will stay with you. These stories will help you make meaning about this time. Besides the stories each of us carries with us is also the realization that we are resilient people. The definition of resilience is the ability to adapt and change when confronted with stressful situations or crisis. I think we can all agree that the last 15 months fit this definition. But all of us here today figured out how to adapt and how to change our patterns and expectations and behaviors. And we were asked to do this again and again and then again. Moving from online to hybrid to in-person school within the span of a few months. Not wearing masks, then having to wear masks, to now at times when we don't have to wear masks. Locking down at home, seeing only our families, to starting to see people outside, to maybe even attending a Mariners game. So much change and adaptation happening in such a short period of time. It wasn't always easy, and I'm sure we expressed a variety of emotions, but you still all persevered. From this experience, 8th graders, remind yourself of what you are capable of doing and how resilient you are. As Kurt Hahn, founder of Outward Bound, says, there is more in you than you know. Imagine the fall of 2025. You're in your first year of college, and you have a challenging class or a roommate who has a different schedule or is not great to live with or just is not a good person. Think to yourself, I survived a pandemic. I can totally manage this situation. Rely on what you have learned about your inner strength. Before I close, I want to thank several groups here today. First, your teachers. These are the people who have guided and mentored you through middle school. They have offered you advice, have provided encouragement, and have worked to ensure your success. We owe them many thanks for all of their hard work on your behalf. So let's give them an energetic round of applause. And of course, your families, here today to celebrate with you. These are the people who have been with you from the beginning. They have offered you unconditional love and support, and they are the constants in your life. Thank them again and again today. Tell them how much you love them. You can't say this enough to them. Before I exit and turn this mic over to another person, I want to thank our next speaker, which is Ms. Zaidberg, aka Karen, for agreeing to become the middle school interim head while Mike Davidson was on sabbatical. Karen agreed to this position in December of 2019. Months before COVID became a world focus. She has done amazing work in supporting not just you, the 8th grade class, and she's also taught all of you, but other students, our faculty, our families, and me. We are so fortunate to have her, and I can't thank her enough. Let's give her an equally energetic round of applause. Ms. Zaidberg. You're up.
Thank you, Mr. Horvat. Good evening, everybody. It's so nice to be together, as it turns out. That's a thing that we can do now. I'm really just so delighted that we can be together to celebrate this marvelous group of young people and congratulate them on their achievements. I know each and every one of you in this room feels a deep sense of pride, not only in your own child, but in the group as a whole, in what they have endured and what they have survived and what they have accomplished. I feel especially fortunate, as Mr. Horvat said, since I have taught these children in 6th grade to watch them arrive at the finish line of middle school. They're older and wiser and in many cases much taller than when I knew them once upon a time, but it's a very special occasion for me indeed. Before I offer some thoughts on this milestone, I want to welcome all of you as well who are joining us this evening, both here in this tent and also via live cast at home. Partnership between the school and home is one of the cornerstones of our middle school, and tonight's promotion ceremony is also the commemoration of the efforts between both of us to support these young people and help them reach this point. Parents and guardians, congratulations to you. As Mr. Horvat said, tonight is the capstone to a remarkable year. Even as we gather here in person and we have some friends that are joining us online, right, we are noting how special and kind of new this all still feels to us. This has been a year for 15 months where we have traced this journey from hybrid to in-person, back home again. What has endured, I think, for our 8th graders, what they have done so very well throughout this whole time has been flexible and focused on what is the most important. And for many of them, that would be playing Minecraft and Among Us, for sure. But in truth, my comments to this class are to say that you all have been rock stars, sincerely, rock stars. As the elder statesman of the middle school, you've been steady, indomitable, optimistic, and enthusiastic no matter what we threw at you. I am so impressed by how you have navigated a whole new way of doing school. You've adapted your 30-day projects to work in a physically distanced world. You've managed to keep green and gold events happening even when we've had to be physically distanced and sometimes online. You've been able to do art, music, make models out of straws. You've done renditions of Romeo and Juliet. Toward the end of the pandemic, when athletics could resume, you were also out on all of the fields and all of the courts, bringing your A game. As a group, you have demonstrated tenacity, and it is that determination and focus to get to the finish line that is to thank for all of you reaching this moment, this evening, when we officially get to promote you from 8th grade and the middle school and send you out into the world of high school and beyond. Friends, I want to invite each and every one of you students to turn to a person sitting next to you and give them an air high five, because they've done it and so have you. Lastly, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the efforts of the 10 magnificent advisors who are joining us in this room tonight. These are people who care deeply about their work and about these children. They are the folks at the front line every day, dealing with the triumphs, the crises, the questions, and they take it on gladly because they care about what they do. Friends, I want to offer sincere thanks to these advisors. Please join me. So a little bit of housekeeping, if I may, and that will be an overused word pretty quickly if it has not already become so. So I'm going to ask that you all please follow along in the program. We have a nice sort of roster of student speakers and other performances, things that we're able to offer to you. When it comes to giving out our certificates, which we will do shortly, in an effort to be respectful of health and safety, as we are all trying to be, I want to invite families, when it is your child advisory group's time to receive their awards and their certificates, to make your way, please, to the area that is located over here to my left. And this is an area that we've set aside so that you can snap some photos of your child as they are walking off the stage, having received their certificate from me and shaking Mr. Horvat's hand, or in this case, maybe fist bump. Is that what we decided? Fist bump it shall be. You are invited to be there, grab some photos, and then please make your way back to your seats. At the end of the ceremony, there is plenty of time for you to take other photos, including a little vignette that's been set up at the back, which is quite sweet with some flowers, as well as to take advantage of this gorgeous evening we have and to step outside of the tent. We also will be able to offer you a light refreshment, which you're able and invited to enjoy outside. As well, advisors, the PFSA has very graciously provided some gifts for you all, and you're invited to pick those up at a table right behind where BG is sitting on your way out of the tent. In conclusion, families, well done. Students, congratulations. Teachers, mission accomplished. Enjoy tonight. We're so very proud of you. It is my pleasure now to introduce the first of our 3 student speakers. These 3 individuals were selected by their class to reflect on their time in 8th grade and in the middle school. They have elected in turn to speak about the past, the present, and the future. Their order may differ slightly from what is printed in your program, but I assure you we will let you know who is heading up to the podium. First up, Emily Leon Kaplan to talk about the past. Good luck.
Okay. Testing, testing. I'm just going to say it. We've missed out on a lot this year, and I'm sure that the other speakers will mention this too. And they're right. We missed our friends, family, and social events. On the positive side, one thing that I could say that was really great about this year was that all of our commutes were very short. I remember the night before the first day of 5th grade, feeling nervous and unprepared. I grabbed my laptop and started to Google, how do I survive middle school? You might be surprised, but there are endless amounts of responses. And you'd also wonder, why would someone look that up? Because it seems like a ridiculous question. Well, this ties into how many of you may have first felt when coming to Overlake. Nervous, overwhelmed, and perhaps reluctant to enter another phase of life, middle school. I mean, I'm sure when we first graduated elementary school, none of us were ready for what was ahead of us. We had high expectations of intense homework sessions, strict teachers, and never-ending nights. And, unexpectedly, no recess. It was a big world. We were packed in clusters, scampering around campus because the rule is, you're always safer in packs. Together we struggled, whether it be the class forgot we had homework, or we were trying to memorize what A and D block was. My most vivid memory from 6th grade was in science class, where we conducted a forensic investigation concerning who broke Miss Pan's cup. And parents, it was professional. We had some 6th graders in the corner dusting off fingerprints for examination. Another group was measuring the sizes of shards of broken ceramic. And we had a gang of 10-year-old wannabe detectives questioning teachers who promptly replied, "Snitches get stitches." But I think it only took us a matter of 2 to 3 days to figure out the culprits, which is impressive. As a grade, together we were able to overcome a challenge in record timing. My favorite memory from 7th grade was in social studies, and many of you may remember these words, but Caracas, Venezuela, Bogota, Colombia, Quito, Ecuador, Lima, Peru. As a class, we found an alternative way to study for our first map test. I'm sure plenty of people bonded while singing that very same song, both with one wish in mind, to not fail the test. And what was so great about the whole ordeal was that a student had found it and sent it to the entire grade so they could pass. The same thing happened several times when the class created an email string to send out study sets to help each other. When we went into 8th grade, sure, it was hard. We started out online, but we entered pretty cohesively as a group. Looking back on the 5th, 6th, and 7th grade, it seems like we were just a bunch of tiny nervous kids who seemed to find entertainment out of posting memes in friends' cubbies. But I mean, look at the comparison. Not only have we grown as people, I'm sure a lot of us have also grown taller. But here's what I take from these memories, together as a class. We have accomplished so much, and it goes to show that we always have each other's backs. I would now like to recognize the faculty and staff who helped us get here today, devoted to their passing down knowledge to the next generation. This year, we learned how to become stronger physically and mentally enforced by the needles used for the straw tower. In English, we were taught to think before acting, using Romeo and Juliet as a classic example. And addressing all the teachers, pivoting into a digital classroom was not easy. It meant that you had to think and learn quickly, and you delivered with grace and grit. Thank you all for the extra efforts you make to help us. Finally, it's impossible to condense this remarkable class to a single word, sentence, and definitely not a graduation speech. But here's what I can say. We'll measure these last 4 years not by the adventure, What I can say is that we'll measure these last 4 years not by periods or semesters, but by the adventures, memories, and friends we forged together. My name is Emily Leon Kaplan, and congratulations to the class of 2025. We're going to high school.
our next student speaker, who will be talking about the present, Mahi Maladi.
Mr. Horvat, Ms. Zaberg, faculty and staff, dear parents and guests, and my fellow 8th graders. I'm Mahi Maladi, and I am so thrilled to be speaking with all of you today in person. It was only 16 months ago that we were all thrown a curveball in the form of a tiny invisible virus that emerged first in our country right here in Washington. Do you know what Merriam-Webster Dictionary declared as the word of 2020? Yep, it's pandemic. Pan meaning all, endemic from the Greek word demos, meaning people, affecting all people, all of us, all of humanity. And boy, what a journey it's been for everyone. We learned a bunch of new words this year. Pandemic, lockdown, quarantine, PPE. I laugh every time I say that, but we're almost in high school, so no more immature jokes. We learned some other new words. Social distancing, asynchronous and synchronous, Jay Inslee, Scriblio, Among Us, imposter. While positive is generally a positive word, we learned that doctors seem to use the word wrong, as it's clearly not good to be COVID positive. Some of us got to spend a lot of time with their parents due to the pandemic, and some of us had to spend a lot of time with their parents due to the pandemic. So, we boarded ourselves up in isolation and waited for the virus to go away so we could pick our lives up and continue. 7th grade ended. Summer came even though it wasn't really summer since we couldn't go outside and enjoy the sun. We saw family and friends only through a screen, and we waited some more. 8th grade came. We saw our teachers doing their best to teach in a brand new way. Hats off to each one of them who didn't give up, even when we kept our cameras off, had tech issues, stayed muted, accidentally took a nap during class time, and played Minecraft all day long in the background. We learned some other new things too, like technology can fail you, the Wi-Fi struggle is real. Does anybody remember Big Blue Button? Yeah, I won't say anything more about that, but I'm very thankful for Zoom. And did we learn anything about success during this upside down year? Maybe success meant being patient for however long it took to get a vaccine that'll allow the world to get back to normal, or waiting for the Wi-Fi to get back for that matter. Maybe it meant developing resilience, knowing that everything will be okay in the end. Maybe success meant being confident, strong, positive, and will soon be back to achieving success inside and out of the classroom. Yes, all of that. But is that all we should hope for? Maybe it's too narrow a definition focused on just us as individuals. Our grade has experienced life before and after COVID, so maybe it's the right time to redefine success to something larger than each of us. Success could mean that it's all right, even necessary, to look outside of ourselves. Being apart from each other made us realize that every one of us matters. It made us vulnerable because we're so dependent on each other. We learned that connection matters. Finding ways to still be in touch with each other matters. Realizing that we are all in this together and will only get through this together matters. Putting our trust in each other and knowing that the best part of us was being called upon. We 8th graders made masks for doctors by cutting up our t-shirts at the beginning of the pandemic, and we made cards for healthcare workers. We developed more regard for each other, our world, when we were forced to be apart. And we learned to be humble because we had to rely on each other. The pandemic isn't over, although we're many steps closer to it. I stand here in gratitude to all of you, teachers, parents, and students, our entire school community that put so much work into making sure that we didn't stop learning despite this major world event. But I especially want to say good job to my classmates. This year wasn't easy. I'm a planner. I use my planner for school, but I didn't plan for my 8th grade year to go like this, and I'm sure you didn't expect it to go like this either. Before lockdown, I don't think any of us would have thought we could go months without boba, Starbucks, boba, our friends, boba, and general human interaction. We somehow figured out a new way and how to adapt, though, because we were willing to try. And if you're willing to try new things, you're willing to make mistakes. And if you're willing to make mistakes, that means you have courage. And I think we all can say it takes a lot of courage to simply unmute in class to answer a question, much less turn on your camera. So, let's keep that courage with us for the next few years. After all, this year we figured out that you only get one shot to enjoy the grade you're in. Even though this year we sat in our chairs at our desks for 7+ hours, we accomplished a lot because we learned how to value each other. The world is interconnected, and we saw how much we matter to each other. And it's not only because survival was at stake, but we saw the possibility of what the world looks like when we work together for each other's success. Because in that lies our success. This year, we all became courageous, connected, and ultimately successful. See you in high school!
It is my pleasure to spend the next few minutes recognizing the efforts and commitment of our 8th grade student leaders in the area of community and student life. These leaders have contributed significantly to the operations and activities in the middle school this year. Our middle school ASB was led spectacularly by a trio of students who were consistently organized, motivated, and creative. From grade level socials to special events to just plain running great ASB meetings, I wish to recognize Emily Leon Kaplan, ASB President, and Meera Singhal, ASB Vice President. Please come up and receive your awards. That's for you. You're very welcome. Just stand over there for a second. Thank you, friends. One of the hallmarks of middle school is our green and gold spirit teams and competitions. Green and gold are the true colors of Overlake. Perhaps you saw Mr. Horvat's tie. And the 4 color captains are the true heart and soul of the program. These folks were always cheerful, enthusiastic, and dedicated to student life. I wish to recognize Mahi, Malady, and Zachary Shepler, green captains, and Maddie Hutton and Sawyer Sarkot, gold captains. Please come up and receive your awards. Sawyer, friend, that's for you. Mahi, that's for you. I'm so sorry. That's for you, Zachary. We will fix it, not a problem. Mistakes happen, folks. It's life. Please give another round of applause to these great folks. Next up, Debauju to talk about the future.
Change this first. Okay. Promotion is about celebrating how we've made it through middle school, the success we've had, and how far we've come. But honestly, when I woke up this morning, my first thought was, man, Debao, you're getting really old, aren't you? Yeah, okay, I realize it's not the right thing to say, right? Most of the people here are 4 times our age. No offense, but, you know. To be fair, next year we'll be in high school. In 2 years, we'll be driving. In 3, we'll probably be taking the SAT. And in 4, we'll be off to college and away from our parents. And siblings, yes. It seems daunting, but we've made it through 2020. Made it through middle school, and that's success already. On the other hand, 2020 also taught us that we can't predict everything. In fact, we can hardly predict anything. So I think we should focus and live in the moment. Middle school wasn't easy, but we've made it through. And something that I've always appreciated about our grade and admired is the mindset that we approach things with. By which I mean, we don't look far into the future. Like what, 3/4 of the grade was glasses and contacts, right? So we really are short-sighted, okay? Otherwise, we wouldn't fall into the ponds on campus. You know, the ones by the math science building. We wouldn't enter the buildings before 12:30. I think we've all done that. And I think most of us have also run in the library. We would also bring PE clothes. I'm speaking for 3/4 of the grade right now. We would also pay attention in class and not procrastinate on social studies. Now I'm speaking for the entire grade. Now, for all the adults in the room, you shouldn't assume that what I just said is true, because our grade may or may not also be known for lying. I'll leave it to you to decide whether that's true or not. But we've made it already. I remember 4 years ago, the 8th graders seemed like giants. Even to me, yes. So you guys can't protest. But now we're in their shoes, and we get to call other people fiffies. I realize that being our age is hard. Life is hard in general. But there's infinitely more things to appreciate in the moment. I'm sure that what that is exactly is different for each and every one of us. But I think we can all agree that leaving middle school as successful people is something worth celebrating. And I assure you, each and every one of us is successful. Don't dwell on the past, because you're only going to see cringy, awkward versions of ourselves. And that's not going to do you any good. Don't worry about the future either, because what's to come will come no matter what. Not to mention, we'll be old before you know it. Try new things and do stupid things. We've done that for 4 years already. Get into trouble, lots of it. Parents can disagree with me, but we've been doing that our entire lives already. Keep being brave and just do it. It sounds weird coming from me, I know, but we're young, everyone. The adults in our lives seem obsessed with emphasizing that and making their own age the butt of the joke. But it's true. We're young, and we have a whole world of possibilities ahead of us. Finally, now I want to take this opportunity, and I think I speak for all 64 of us in the grade when I say thank you. Thank you to our teachers, who have always supported us no matter what, who have taught us to be students and to be people in general, and not just what's in the textbook and what's in the curriculum. Thank you to our families, who have been with us since the day we were born, who have fed us and taught us. Words can't describe how important you are, so I won't try. And finally, thank you to the other 63 people in this room. In our grade. Correction. For my 30-day project, I studied Marie Kondo and minimalism, who's known for saying, "Does it spark joy?" And you know, middle school doesn't spark joy. It does the opposite quite often, right? I think you all agree with me, yes. But besides our parents forcing us to go, the class that we are, the memories that we've made, that's what keeps us going. So once again, thank you. Then again, like I mentioned earlier, we are also known for lying. So that thank you may or may not extend to all of you. And I'll leave you to decide whether that's true or not. But regardless, let's celebrate how far we've come. And high school, here we come. Thank you.
Well done. All right, it's time for the main event. Let's graduate these children. I'm going to remind families the advisories are printed in your program. If you're interested in snapping some photos as your child is receiving their certificate, you're welcome to come and stand in the photo box. Certainly after the ceremony, you're welcome to take as many photos as you would like. All right, students, are we ready? Anybody want to back out now? This is your moment. Don't raise your hand. Don't do that. Nobody wants you to do that. May I please invite Sarah Becerra Garcia.
I want to thank my advisory for a wonderful year, even though we were online most of the year. Thank you for your kindness, good humor, and patience. So here we go. Luke Anderson. Sophie Aslan. Pearl Cassidy Woodward. Kedar Shintalapati. Joshua Gruya, it's so good to have you. I'm sorry that you're not here presently, but congratulations to you too. Dahlia Rasmussen. Another person online right now is Abhishek Balicherla. So good to see you. And last but not least, Cody Wattendorf. Ms. Fawal, please come to the stage.
Hi everyone. I'll wait for my homies there. Ready? Thank you all for coming, and this is the Fawal homeroom. I'm gonna start with Anjika Aurora. Sarah Cameron Bernier. Rushan Mahajan. Sawyer Sarkat. Anya Shah. Samuel Showell, who is virtual, but hi, Sam. Meera Singhal. And last but not least, Dabao Zhu. Next homeroom to come up is Mr. Omar Jimenez homeroom.
Thank you so much. I would like to invite Theodore Olteen. Maya Smith. Brian Stroud. Alexander Vutov, he's online. Thank you and congrats. Brian Way. Maya Womack. Maria Yakushev. Ellie Ring. And I would like to invite Michael Krumholtz to the stage.
First up, Vaid Anand. Emma B. Rohan Bhutani. Anthony Tsui. Orion Amy. Caitlin Silversing. Jada Verproskus. And Hayato Nagai. Next up, we have the Mindy McGrath homeroom.
AKA the open gym homeroom. First up, we have Avani Bansal. A virtual fist bump to Connor Cusick, who's at home. Brandon Duvier. Nabi Farhat. Mufan Fang. Sophia M. Emily Long Kaplan. And Siddharth Misra. I would like to invite up Miss Karen Mihata.
I told Ms. Aberg it's like ducklings. All right. Oh. All right. You're a good group. Thank you for getting me through the year. Mary Avery. Nicholas Diaconou. Jonathan Hill. Sienna Lai. Mahi Malati. Peishan Peng. Zachary Shepler. Preston Takayama. Please welcome to the stage the combined homeroom for the Mraz Lots group.
Ruhi Gatamakala. Tanner Jones. Ashley Lee. Bert Liu.
My turn. Lauren Owens. Andy Q. Ayuka Sakaki. Aiden Treadwell. We'll next have Laura Treebold and Alicia Gold's homeroom.
Tom Herring. Maddie Hutton. Toby Odell. Grayson Rosenberg.
Lucy Smith. Reese Sun. Siona Verma. Chloe Wong.
Please let's join together one more time to congratulate the graduates.
Okay. All righty. So congrats to everybody who spoke today. Just navigating this alone has been a real test of fortitude for all of us up here. All right. So the final part of the event, which I hope I can find my last page. If not, I'll have to just like wing it, which I think I will have to do. Okay. So first, a couple of pieces of housekeeping, just as a reminder. So outside, there are some treats and something to drink. So if you afterwards want to participate in that, thanks to Travis and the entire kitchen staff for putting that together. So that's available to you all. I'm going to call up all of our 7th and 8th grade musicians if they could get situated, because they're going to actually play the music that will allow the 8th graders to recess out of the tent. So we'll let them get set up. I will say these are a couple of firsts, probably for all of us in the room. So first of all, probably for most of us, this is the first time in 15, 16, 17 months we've been in a setting with this many other people. So huge first. The other first is probably 15, 16, 17 months ago was when we heard live music. And so you got to hear it here at Overlake. So thanks to our orchestra. Yay! Also, I want to thank the 7th and 8th grade parents who helped out putting this together, who volunteered in a variety of ways. So thank you to all of you volunteers out there. It would not have happened without you. Okay. All right, and I'll wait for Mr. Lotz to give me the high sign that he is ready before I finally dismiss the 8th graders. And before I do that, just some things. So it's been said before, but I'll say it again. Welcome 8th grade to high school. Big step. Second thing, everybody in the room, in about a year, maybe like 14 months, this group is going to be driving. Get ready. Okay, Mr. Lotz. Ready? Okay, so when they start playing, 8th graders, stand up and you're going to process out on the two sides, and we'll let everybody else wait till they are all out, and then we can all exit as well. Okay, get ready. All right. Woo! And here's where we applaud. All right. Ah, there it is. Oh, good. I think I got everything. Okay. All right, and everybody else can now start to exit the tent. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming.